Osamason and Nettspend have been the new underground duo popping off right now, with both artists getting bigger and bigger every day, dropping new albums which recently have landed on the charts and both selling over 8,000 sales, which is definitely solid for an underground artist. And it's safe to say that Osamason and Nettspend are well on their way to being mainstream, so let's take a look at the journey of how Nettspend and Osamason are so up right now and how they are proving the doubters wrong. And now starting off with Lil O, he actually has had a pretty quick rise to his success, and it's kind of crazy because just a year ago people were comparing him to Ken Carson, calling him a Ken Carson clone, a Cardi clone, and it got so bad that every time Osamason was mentioned in a tweet, in a post, and there would always be people in the comments calling bro a clone. Like, bro, it was actually tragic. I'd say these clone allegations were the most prevalent during when Osama Season did drop in summer 2023, and which, speaking of that album, I actually just recently listened to that project front to back, and that shit sounds nothing like Ken. I mean, maybe Kutta, because he actually does use the same kind of ad-libs. Osamason has his own unique, authentic sound, but obviously Osamason has taken inspiration from Cardi when it comes to his covers or just his aesthetic in general, but it definitely worked when it came to marketing, because it definitely got people talking about him. Honestly, I feel like when Flex Music did end up dropping in late 2023, that was the album that definitely got Osamason respected by a lot of casual underground fans, and it really showed a whole different side of Osamason, as the album was super diverse and had all different types of sounds. And going back to the clone allegations, it got so bad that Ken had to come out on Twitter and tell everyone that he doesn't know who Osamason is, as people did think at the time that Ken was blackballing him and telling producers to not fuck with Osamason. And also, at the time of this happening, a lot of people weren't taking Osamason seriously as a artist, but last year in 2024 was the year that everything would change. Even though Osamason wouldn't drop an album last year, he would go on probably one of the most insane single runs in history, bro, ahead of his album Jump Out. And again, even though he didn't drop an album last year, it was probably his biggest year yet, and people really started to notice Osamason as an artist, even with people going to the extent saying that Osamason surpassed Ken Carson. So yeah, y'all might be wondering, bro, how do people go from calling Osamason a Ken Carson clone to saying that he surpassed Ken Carson? Well, honestly, I'd say that is because the overall popularity for Opium isn't as high as it was back in 2022 to 2023, with obviously Cardi not dropping and just people not caring about Opium that much as they used to. And the same time that was happening, people started to hop on the Osamason bandwagon, and his fan base was just growing more and more. And recently, Osamason's third album, that being Jump Out, did actually drop, and it actually did sell 9K and did hit the Billboard for the first time in his career, and this surprised everyone. And mind y'all, this album leaked the same week that it did end up dropping, so imagine if it didn't leak, it probably would have sold 10K, 11K. This is definitely huge, and it also is cool to see Osamason change the narrative around him. And yeah, obviously his sound is different to the generic mainstream rap sound, but I think if he starts working with more producers just outside of OK and Bullymon, starts diversifying his sound more and more and keeps experimenting with it, I could definitely see Osamason going crazier and crazier, because as of now, the Osamason hype is definitely there, and he probably has the craziest diehard fan base I've ever seen in the underground in a while. And now, just like Osamason, Nettspend has also been the talk of town in the underground this past year. Now, I feel like Nettspend had the most unexpected blow up of all time, because when I actually did first see bro blow up 2 years ago, I thought of bro as another Matt Ox and now he's going crazy. And now Nett would first gain buzz in 2023. I'm sure you guys have seen the snippet to his song Drank, which got everyone's attention on him, and he basically capitalized off that attention in 2024, casually dropping his best music ever in that year. For example, Nothing Like You is still to this day probably top 3 Nettspend songs ever, and it got everyone's attention on him. And the music video too was also pretty cool. All those meme rapper talks basically vanished, and he would also be seen working with a lot of other underground artists like Xavier So Bass, Osamason, and be seen with some huge names in the industry like Pierreborn, Chief Keef, even being tapped in with Joy Division of Opium. So he was definitely doing his thing for sure. And he would also drop that one song which was sampled by Deftones, which I definitely wish didn't get removed move because that was peak Nettspend. Then bro would casually land a Lyrical Lemonade music video and then freaking sign a deal with Grade A. He was basically speed running his way into the mainstream, even getting a goddamn HBO documentary, bro. When was the last time that we've seen a underground rapper get a freaking whole professional documentary made about him, bro? Like, this is actually crazy. And obviously his debut album BAFK, aka Badass Fucking Kid, would also end up dropping and did end up selling 9K. So both Lil O and Nettspend did sell the same numbers, obviously both touching the charts and proving everyone wrong. And it's crazy because people deadass doubted them, saying, oh, I can't see, you know, Nett or Osamason go mainstream. Well, hey, you're wrong. And it's crazy because both of these artists had these like labels attached to their name. Like for Osamason, it was Clone, and for Nettspend, it was like Meme Rapper. Both Osamason and Nettspend used these false labels as like marketing and basically capitalized on all the hate that they actually were getting and just dropped more music. They stayed out of controversies, and the success and the results are just now showing. Hey man, I definitely wish the best for Osamason and Nettspend's career this year. Besides that, it's been your homie AmChann. Love y'all, and we out.